Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition, day 3 of the 12 days of bookings, where I take something that either failed or had some opportunities to be absolutely amazing, and I rewrite them and rebook them because I'm indeed an effing genius, no ding required. So I'm actually going to take a bit of a small break from the wrestling ones. I've already done 2 wrestling-related ones already, so I'm going to go in a different direction. I've actually done a couple of bookings like these, or a couple rewrites like these. I'm going to do one that's going to be focusing more on a movie. I've done Spider-Man 3, I've done Batman vs. Superman, planning on at least doing one more rewrite for a movie after this one, so you can definitely stay tuned to that. But I thought to myself, what could I do that could really make this very special? And I thought to myself, there's got to at least be one movie out there that I could not possibly screw up as bad as they did. And then it dawned on me that one movie that definitely deserves a huge, massive rewrite and a massive do-over is indeed Batman and Robin. So what basically happened with this movie? Well, absolutely everything that you can imagine with a dumpster fire piled on with dog crap, camel poop, everything that you can imagine going wrong is what went into this movie. I mean, for me, they had George Clooney playing Batman. He never really brought anything to the character. You had Dr. Freeze doing a bunch of ice puns. You had Chris O'Donnell's Robin being a whiny little baby. You had Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, which retrospective could have worked, but I think there was just too much cheesiness that went into it. Oh god, the jokes that went into this movie, from like the Adam West feel that they brought in to the random lines that made absolutely no sense. This movie just aggravates me so much. And then the fact that they introduced new characters, it was just a big colossal mess and a big colossal huge missed opportunity to do something absolutely amazing with it. So yeah, there's no way that I could possibly screw up this movie. So yeah, I'm basically rewriting what has been known as one of the worst movies of all time. And yeah, like I said, I can do it better. So to start off, I'm going to make this very clear. There's not going to be Dr. Freeze. I know it's going to be an absolutely insane deal to think about a movie without Dr. Freeze, a movie without Arnold Schwarzenegger making ice puns. Whatever shall we do? I know, how about we focus on one villain who actually deserves a lot of recognition? Probably one of the best villainesses in the entire, comic book realm, in my opinion. That being Poison Ivy. I'm making Poison Ivy the main villain in this entire movie. I am not going to be adding, Barbara. It's going to just be the relationship between Batman and Robin. It's going to also be focusing on Poison Ivy. So how do we kind of start this? Well, I figured we'd start this off with a bit of a bank robbery, because why not? I mean, you can't always do a deal where it's going to be an absolutely crazy, super villain deal, stuff like that. You can't always do that because people are going to get winded early on. So we start off with a bit of a bank robbery. Batman and Robin, of course, they're coming in, they're beating up people, but there are a couple moments here and there where Batman kind of goes at it alone, where he kind of, just basically has Robin kind of step back, and obviously this infuriates Robin, especially after the whole bank deal has been wrapped up. Everything's fine, and Robin, of course, being professionals, being like, hey, yeah, we did it, yay. But as soon as they get home, Robin, Dick Grayson, he's just saying, what the hell was that all about? What are you doing? When I signed up to be your partner, I didn't want you to be my babysitter as well. And of course, Batman is just saying, hey, I'm just trying to protect you. You don't know about the crazy stuff that's going on out there. It's like, hey, I've done fine. You have to remember that we took down Two-Face and the Riddler together. It wasn't just you. You can't just, baby me around. So we start a little bit of friction between the two of them because, it makes sense. So, of course, Robin leaves, and Bruce is telling Alfred, hey, can you just get everything done? Alfred's just like, of course, Master Wayne. So Bruce leaves, and then while Alfred's doing his, regular chores, he just stops, he drops, he holds his side a bit, he's able to get himself back up. Bear that in mind. So then we go on to the next scene. Obviously, we need to build up Poison Ivy, and the best way to do it is to have a laboratory deal in which, of course, she is not yet Poison Ivy. She is Pamela Lillian Isley, and I do apologize for anybody that I may have screwed up the name. I could have done something else. I could have screwed something bad up. I apologize to anybody in the DC Comics. I'm actually trying to justify this whole deal. So she is basically working with a bunch of other scientists to try and present something that is going to help make life better, specifically through plants. So this is more of a plant science deal. Some people have different ideas. Of course, Pam, she wants to be the one who just basically speaks for the plants. She's almost like a DC version of like the Lorax. She's just saying we don't need to be involved. They are independent. They don't need our involvement. She's trying very hard to prove that. I mean, she does these experimentations, but she's trying to help the plants defend themselves against humans. So she's kind of showing off a couple of these different plants. Almost kind of like a couple of them are kind of like those Jumanji plants that either spit out the vines or they kind of spit out like a poison barb, something like that. She kind of shows that off, and some of the people that are watching are like, oh yeah, this would actually kind of work out very nicely. But the main professor is just saying no, this is just not what was intended when God put plants on the earth. He didn't intend for us to make them into weapons. And she, of course, is irate about this. They're not weapons. They just need help, defending themselves, obviously, because they need to be defended against people like you who just experiment on them. So basically it boils down to she doesn't like him, he doesn't like her, but some of the people are just like, oh, I kind of like where this is going. Some of them actually want to have some of the plants be, government funded, so that way they can spread these plants all around the world and they can actually do that. She's trying to do that, but before she can even get a chance to sign off on something, he just says, unfortunately, Pam's research will not be, acquired that much. She has been, dismissed and terminated from this project. Of course, she is pissed about this, and she is told, you got 24 hours to get your stuff out of the lab. So we have that, and one of the next things that happens is that we see the main scientist focusing on using plants as cures for medication, because of the fact is that there's ways to cure people than just medicine. So he's actually trying to work on this kind of cure. Bear that in mind. So of course we go back to Bruce and Dick. They're kind of still a little bit irate about last night, but then they just figure, you know what, it's another day, it's going to be fine, whatever. So they're kind of lamenting out, la la la, just going to Bruce at Wayne Enterprises. They work together a little bit. They even try to create some new weapons. They do some sparring together until they hear, of course, hey, there's another robbery. And Bruce is just saying, you know what, how about I just take this by myself? And Dick's like, what? No, it's fine. I'll be able to handle it. Be able to handle it. And Bruce is just like, okay. At first he's just kind of like, I don't know, but he's just like, you know what, all right, fine, let's do it. So we got another robbery going, and at this point we have, kind of like this mob boss, not like Penguin or not like something like this. We kind of have this mob boss, again, just trying to rile up people and basically try to show fear into them. And of course, Batman and Robin, they're trying to save the day, la 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 la. It looks like they're about to, and Batman is seeing that Robin is holding his own, so he's thinking, okay, maybe I was wrong about this. When all of a sudden, bang, bang, we see somebody actually shoot at Robin, and it actually clips his arm. So Robin gets shot. Batman, of course, gets the gun out of the person's plant. The people leave, and then he goes over to tend Robin. And of course, we fast forward a bit more to a scene where he is there with, Dick bedside. He's like, "This is why I didn't want you to get involved, because I don't want to see you getting hurt." Dick's just like, "I'm fine. It's all right. It comes with the deal. I'm fine." And Bruce just says, "You know what? This is too much of a deal with you. This is too much for me to handle, and this is too much for you to handle. I don't want you going out with me anymore. I want you to just stay here and take care of yourself." And of course, Dick is not happy about this. He is just saying, "Are you kidding me? Again, we're supposed to be partners." And he's just saying, "Yeah, I'm looking out for my partner because I don't want to see you dead." So we then go into the other scene where, of course, Pam is just irate. She's pissed off at the fact that her work is just terminated, and she is just not happy about this at all. She actually starts just throwing chemicals, and some of these chemicals end up, getting thrown into some of the plants. Some of the plants transform, and one of them actually spits a barb at Pam accidentally. I know it's weird to say accidentally when it comes to a plant, but it hits Pam in the arm. She's like, "Ah!" And she's, of course, very forgiving when it comes to plants, because she thinks that, they don't know any better. What this does is that it actually kind of starts infusing into Pam's body, and this, toxin, this energy is just slowly getting inside of her. And then we see, plants are just circling around her, and that scene where, Poison Ivy gets, just sunk into a kind of, grassy, mossy pole. I kind of like that, so we're going to kind of keep that in there. And of course, here comes the main scientist. He's coming in. He's just saying, "Pam, it's been 24 hours. It's time for you to go." And he's just seeing all this, and he's like, "Oh, I guess, she left." And of course, Poison Ivy, she arises from this, and she looks completely different. Of course, she's got this kind of different, she's got a little bit of a different look about her. Maybe she's got a little more pale faced. She's got more red in her hair. Here's the thing about this. As much as Uma Thurman would be okay as a Poison Ivy, I would much rather have a perfect Poison Ivy. And I would much rather have Rachel McAdams play it. That's just my opinion. So, that's just me. Anyway, getting back to the story. She basically says, "Oh, big boy, I know that you did not mean to terminate me." And of course, he's slowly just getting under her spell. And she's noticing the fact that she can actually, just get control of these, just get control of men, of course, because of the pheromones. And of course, this is where we get the debut of the deadly kiss, where she kills off the main scientist. So of course, people are just like, "Oh, well, this is not getting well." She does the same thing to just about everybody in the lab, except for one, the assistant to the main scientist. She's thinking, "Well, the thing is, I'm going to need somebody to, tag along with me and help me carry on my research. So you're gonna have to do." She's not really thrilled about it, but she realizes she can't just do this on her own. She could use the plants, but she's like, "You know what? I don't want to exert too much energy with them. I want them to love me, so therefore, I need somebody to be my lackey." And unfortunately, this scientist is going to be the one. He's not very willing, but of course, the pheromones are too much for him. He is willing. And there's even a point where we get to see her do the kiss to him, but doesn't kill him. Because one of the misconceptions, I think, in Batman vs. and Robin, was the fact that Poison Ivy just had a kiss that could kill. When in reality, she also had a kiss that could really get somebody in a trance. So, we get to see, we get to see that kind of evolve a bit. So, from there, we have a conversation with, Bruce Wayne and with Alfred. They're talking, and Alfred, of course, being the man of virtue, he's just saying, like, "Well, maybe you're just being a little too hard. You can't always, just, go have it your way. You have to remember that you guys are partners. You're 50-50. And Bruce is just saying, "I'm not going to have any of it. I don't want him dying. I don't want him ending up dead just like his family." And, of course, Dick hears this. He's gone. And Bruce is just thinking, damn it, what am I going to do? So he tries to go after Dick, and we see Alfred again having a situation where, he's walking and he starts feeling pain in his side. This time it looks like it's getting worse. It's getting worse. This kind of develops more during the story. Now, of course, Poison Ivy, she finds a new hideout where she can actually work on her plans, and she's working on creating new plans that will help really make things even better for her and help save more people. But she thinks, I need a demonstration. I need something that will really stand out. I need something that will really help us out. But where can I really demonstrate how my babies, my plants could really do well? And the lackey, of course, he's kind of here and there. He's still kind of there, but he's not going to have like too many moments where he's going to be absolutely crazy. So he says, well, I mean, there's a charity event going on in Gotham, and she sees that, and she's like, this could be a really good opportunity, because not only could I get the chance to earn some money, but I could also get the chance to show off to everybody what Poison Ivy is all about. So, fast forward a bit there, Batman and Robin are, of course, at the charity event, and you know that scene where they have the situation where, Poison Ivy comes in, and she does like the whole pheromone deal. That's kind of what happens here. At first Batman and Robin, they're just kind of, there. But we also see a little bit of tension between the two of them. Robin, he's trying very hard to keep his, professionalism up, but he still is just a little bit mad at the fact that, Bruce would even bring up his, family. Then, of course, Poison Ivy comes in. She brings in a bunch of plants. She gets this nice pheromone thing going. And obviously for Batman, he's pretty immune to it because of, because of the fact that he can work out. The fact that I think that with a lot of the pheromones, they realize that it only works on people who are very, weak-minded or just not very focused. And obviously the easy target here is going to be Robin. So she not only demonstrates her plans, but she also gets Robin to turn on Batman, not only with the pheromones, but saying, hey, you don't need to be his lackey anymore. You can be your own person. She's basically being this sick, twisted person, just twisting everything together and making everything work in her favor, because that is who she is, and she does a fantastic job at it. So we get a couple of fight scenes between Robin and Batman, and it ultimately builds up to, Dick just saying, what, I'm gone, I'm leaving, this partnership is not the way I thought it was going to be, I'm done. After he leaves, Bruce is just saying, well, I guess it's just you and me, Alfred. Turns around, Alfred is again holding his side. He's in even more pain. He's down to his knees, and he's seeing what's going on. So he gets a doctor in, and doctor diagnoses him. He says, unfortunately, it's a cancer that is not yet found to have a cure. So it's one of those situations where we see, Bruce at a weak point, because he's almost going to lose somebody who is indeed like a father to him. And we have, of course, that moment where they share, that moment where they just talk about how much they mean to each other and how much they've really given to each other, how much they've given to each other in their lifetime. And Alfred is the one who really just hits it home by saying, you have to remember that when you were a kid, I was very overbearing with you when you were young. And Bruce said, yeah, you were doing that to protect me. He said, yes, at times I was a bit overbearing, but I also had to remember that you are indeed your own person. You have to remember that you can't just control everything. You have to let things happen, and you have to let, life take its place. You can't just control life. You can't control other people. And basically Bruce is finally getting out of this, that, he's been so hard on Robin, and he's just really not giving him the kind of respect as a partner as he deserves. So Robin is out and about, and he's, of course, smelling the pheromones of poison ivy. He reaches her lair just before he's about to go in. Batman comes in. Bruce makes it, and he talks to Robin. They have this nice heart-to-heart deal where he talks about, you have to understand that the only father figure that I've had is Alfred, and I've learned so much from him. And now I'm at the point where he is probably not going to be with us any sooner. And that's one of those things that really kind of hits with Robin, is the fact that, while Robin had the chance to, grow up with a father, Bruce never did. And the only family that he had was Alfred. And he also admits the fact that, hey, I definitely was being very overprotective. I was not treating you as a partner. I was treating you more as a kid. That was not right. I am sorry. And it's one of those few times where you see that look on Robin's face and it's like, wow, he's never really said sorry. And then maybe there can even be a little joke here where he says, I'm sorry, can you say that again? He just says, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry, just one more time. You really want to try? You really want to try for that? I mean, it's just very few times that I hear you say this. Please, just let me have this. And of course, Batman obliges. He says, Robin, Dick, I'm sorry. So they kind of get back on the same page. And they think to themselves, well, we can't just let Poison Ivy get away with this. We can't let her take over for this. So Robin kind of plays the bait, just like in the Batman and Robin movie where he finds out about, about Poison Ivy. He finds out about her real name. And she, of course, invites him in, not knowing that Batman is going to be there. And basically, she's just, again, tempting him. She's basically trying to take control of him. She's trying to control the little bird for her own doing. And Robin says, I will do whatever you say, but I must know something. She says, whatever you want. I want to know, is there a way to cure people through your plans? And of course, that hits a nerve for her. But she doesn't really show it right away. It kind of settles in, where she shows a little bit of, shock, but then she slowly smiles and she says, I'll tell you everything you need to know, but I need to know that I can trust you. And he says, of course. And of course, we get the classic, kiss between the two of them, in which Poison Ivy thinks, I got you, thinks that there's the poison deal, and she just says, well, I hope that it was all worth it. It's time to die, little Robin. And of course, Robin just says, hate to spoil your fun. Of course, we get that, the lip deal, the plastic lip deal, because I think that was one of the best things. And of course, he says, so are we going to talk now, finally? She throws Robin into her assistant, and then we get to, like this big battle sequence with a bunch of the plants. And then Batman gets involved, and he's just saying, tell us what we need to know, Poison. Tell us what we need to know, Pam. And of course, she refuses, until we see Batman pull out a match and sets one of the plants on fire. And you see just the look on her face where she's like, no, not my babies, no. And Batman is realizing this could be the way to do it. She says, we can make this stop. Just tell us what we need to know. She first refuses. Batman does another match, lights another plant on fire. And of course she's devastated by this. It's like, tell us what we need to know, Pam. She refuses. This goes on for maybe like 2 or 3 more plants until finally she's like, okay, fine. I'll tell you everything you need to know. Just, please, don't hurt my babies. Of course, they extinguish them. We see a scene in which, the cops are taking, Poison Ivy away. But, she only had bits and pieces of it. The thing was that it was only fully known through the assistant. So he explains, hey, we know how to cure this sort of, cancer. And they finally found the herbs. They found everything that he needed to help give it to Alfred. He makes a full recovery from it, and we see them kind of having just a really heartwarming moment where they just hug each other. They're happy. Then we go to Arkham Asylum, in which Poison Ivy is sitting on a therapist's couch. She's sitting and she is talking, and she's explaining everything that's been going on. She talks about how she loves plants, and she just doesn't seem to really enjoy talking to people. But with this person, you definitely see that she definitely enjoys talking to her. And she even says, you're probably the first person I've ever talked to who I've really felt like it feels like there's this connection between us. What did you say your name was? And the therapist says, oh, my name is Quinzel. Harleen Quinzel. Why am I doing this? Because this would be a great way to do a spin-off for Gotham Sirens. Think about that. So, this movie ends with Batman and Robin getting suited up, getting ready, and by this point, Dick Grayson's arm is completely healed, and they have this deal where they basically are just saying to each other, we're both equals, we're both the same. No special treatment, no special treatment. And they, shake hands as partners, and we could, of course, have that classic, deal where the movie ends, they have the bat signal, and they're just running towards the center of it, and then running towards the camera. Boom. That is how we end Batman versus Robin. So what did this really accomplish? So what I think this accomplishes is that it furthers the relationship between Bruce Wayne as well as Dick Grayson, gives them a little bit more of a respect for each other, which I don't really think that they really did with the bad version. We gave Poison Ivy a pivotal role as a villain. It's one of the few times where you actually see a female villain being this high in any comic book movie ever, I would say. I can't really say that there's many, villainesses in Marvel comics or even DC comics where the two of them have like one pivotal woman, but this could be the start. Like I said, gives Poison Ivy a character, gives her some motivation. She obviously cares a lot about her plants. And also, at the end, we get a little bit of a teaser for a possibility of the Gotham Sirens, because now we have, of course, introduced Harley Quinn. Of course, in the next one that I would create, we would introduce Catwoman. But that could be for another time. What did you guys think of this? Did I do better than the Batman and Robin that we got many years ago? Or do you think that this would be even worse than the other one? Let me know in the comment section below. And hopefully you've enjoyed these days of bookings, you guys. This is day 3. There is still 9 more to go. Holy cow. And there's going to be a lot more fans' ideas. There's going to be a lot of people who have suggested ideas that I'm going to definitely give credit to when that comes around. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying this deal. I am enjoying creating these great stories for you guys. I'm enjoying the fact that I get to spread some ideas, give you some insights, and even just give you some new ideas new ways that they could actually create something with either something that was a failure or had potential, but they just narrowly missed that opportunity to make it a great success. So, thank you so much for joining me. You know how to follow me on Twitter. You know how to follow me on Facebook. You know how to get in contact with me, guys. You know how to listen to us on Spreaker.com, YouTube, as well as iHeartRadio. I do believe we're also on iTunes as well. So thank you so much for your time. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And day 4 is just around the corner. So thank you guys so much. And I will talk to you guys in the next day of booking. So bye-bye.